Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and we do apologize for that issue there. Of course, there was a power surge, and speaking about that, there have been several reports of electricity fluctuations, so we can expect that again, some more of that today. Several reports of electricity fluctuations on the eastern and northern side of the island, places like Concordia, Castara, and all the way up to Lansford, Belgarden, Goodwood, and Speyside. So we will be expecting some intermittent services throughout the portion of today where, of course, we are impacted by the effects of Hurricane Beryl. Another report coming in is another fallen tree, this time in the area of Mount Grace. Fallen tree in Mount Grace. Of course, the relevant authorities have already been notified to clear the roadways, so motorists are advised to exercise caution in that area. I am Adanna Combie, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago, as we bring you the information and updates as it relates to things happening on the island of Tobago where Hurricane Beryl is concerned. And this morning we direct our conversation with a representative from the T.T.P.S, Acting Inspector Shurla Prince, as we speak about how do we safeguard ourselves in this time, what the T.T.P.S is doing, and what we need to do as citizens, of course, to cooperate with the agencies who have authority in this particular instance. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, everyone, to your viewers. A pleasant good morning. Good morning to you, Adanna, and thanks for having me here this morning.
Of course, and usually when the T.T.P.S is on our Monday morning show, we speak about things that have happened in the past. And I know the emphasis this morning is on the weather patterns, and of course, we recorded a murder this morning. But if you could just get a brief summary of what happened in the past week, and then we get to where we are this morning.
Okay, so the last week we saw that there was a shooting where 6 persons were wounded, and half an hour time the police officers arrested 4 male suspects and recovered a firearm. Additionally, there were 15 persons arrested on outstanding warrants. We have 1 male appearing in court this morning. He was charged for possession of cocaine and a synthetic drug by the name of catanone for the purpose of trafficking.
Right. It's always very, very, good to know that we have been able to apprehend perpetrators of crime, because at the end of the day, we want to live in a safe space. Now, we're moving on steadily to the condition that we're in now. We are expecting increased intensity in terms of the weather where Hurricane Beryl is concerned. This morning, our report on the outside, we actually saw a civilian jogging on the nation's roads, and we also recorded that murder, which took place also in the height of this period. And of course, condolences to the relatives of that person, Mr. Nathan Roach, I heard the name is. I want you to speak to our public. I want to address those 2 incidents, and also bring it home, the importance of remaining safe and adhering to the advice from the authorities, people like TEMA, the T.T.P.S, the Tobago House of Assembly, the Met Office, of course, to safeguard ourselves. And just, address briefly as much as you can the murder that was recorded this morning as well.
Okay, so condolences going out to the Roach family. Yes, we recorded a murder this morning. I think it's last night. It's unfortunate, but the T.T.P.S Tobago division is working assiduously in bringing these perpetrators to justice. And we want to talk a little bit about safety. We know that Hurricane Beryl, and the country is on red. Tobago is on red alert, and what we have in the T.T.P.S is a critical incident, event, and disaster management plan and policy. And this policy in place is to assist the respective leaders in making clear and accountable decisions based on the availability of information that will come to us through TEMA. So what we're urging persons to do, one is, if you don't need to venture on the outside, don't.
I agree with this, because in the event that something should happen when you're on the outside doing unofficial business, because of course there are persons who would have to be on the outside, like first responders and essential workers. But if you are on the outside and it's not absolutely necessary for you to be there, and peradventure something happens, now you're making a demand on the resources.
Yes, they are. They will be doing that. And as I said, the T.T.P.S Tobago, what we did is put all officers who are on vacation and gratuitous leave, put them on the alert. If if case needs be, that they will come out to lend some support in the station district in where they live. However, as the news says, we have some low-lying area, we have some floodings, and if the place is flooded, we are asking you, do not venture through the flood waters. It is unsafe. Your car could be stalled, and if do get stalled, we ask you to evacuate immediately and seek assistance on the higher ground. And if you have the power lines may be down because it's very windy outside, do not touch these power lines. We're asking everyone to be safe on the outside. The T.T.P.S would only be on the outside if needs be. We are not going to put our officers at any risk. All right, once it's safe to do so, we are going to be outside where we can be able to guide the motorists along the roadways.
And I know, all these agencies who are coming together to ensure that we are safe, that we remain, safe and comfortable. We too have to ensure that we are safe, as you mentioned, that you will not put your officers in a position that they will bring harm to themselves. So, of course, we are asking our communities, members in communities and across the island of Tobago to please exercise the most caution as possible. Now, this morning in a report earlier when we spoke with Candice Jackson there in Charlottesville, we saw that there were some vessels that were still out in the water. And, of course, fishermen making that call on the conch shell to get assistance to bring the vessel in. And I know it's very dangerous because there are choppy waters and so many things happening there. What is your response in terms of from your place where you sit as a T.T.P.S in relation to that type of activity? Not only that, but other persons who have not been as responsible as they should be in this particular time.
When treating with, some persons really do not take the seriousness of the hurricane and the natural disasters. And what we see that there are some boats that are still on the waters. And we advise the fishermen, it should have been something they should have done before in taking the boats out of the water and making the boats safe. However, if that was not done, I think that they have to do so with caution.
And as we're talking about that, I saw circulating on social media also as late as yesterday evening that people are still out, even after our chief secretary reiterated the fact this is not time for a zest, as he so called it. And there were people still on the outside having a good time, enjoying themselves, knowing that we are under watch, knowing that we should be off the streets as he advised by 8 p.m. and people still going on and carrying on with their social events. And I know yesterday Charlottesville had their fisherman fete. What was the response like in terms of people coming out? Are people still participating? What has the T.T.P.S been doing in terms of ensuring that these events are terminated at this time?
Okay, so yes, people did show up for the fisherman at Charlottesville. However, the instruction from the senior soup is to shut down all the activities throughout the island. So the fisherman was quickly shut down by the police in Charlottesville. If you go to the western side, we just came off of Island Crushers, where we have all these young people having a great time on the island. And the Crown Point Police and other agencies, we shut down. There was a boat ride about to take place from 8 p.m. and the police officers had to shut it down, shut down all the bars on what we call the avenue down on the west, ensuring that persons get home and be safe.
And, I want you to speak directly to our viewers. I want you to speak directly to the Tobago public because we take things for granted and we use terms like God is our Trini. We cannot determine what is going to happen. The reports came in from the Met Office. They are the ones who are tracking. They have the expertise to measure the intensity of the impact that we might face. And so people are, as we say, they're taking things for granted. They're going on boat ride. They're still planning their boat rides. I want you to speak to the Tobago public and reiterate and reinforce the importance of adhering to the advice that is coming from all the agencies, the importance to safeguard their lives, and the fact that we don't want to overwhelm the systems that have been put in place to safeguard should something happen on the outside.
Okay, so what we want to reiterate is the safety of everyone on the island of Tobago. We ask that if you don't need to be on the outside, do not go on the outside. We are going to have the first responders for any event that happened. The police officers are working very closely with TEMA and other agencies. We are going to get updates and we will update everyone as the time goes by, as the event unfolds. We ask everyone to stay close and tune in to the radio, to the television once there is electricity. and, keep abreast of what is taking place on the island of Tobago.
Thank you so much, Acting
Thank you,
Inspector
Adanna.
Shurla Prince. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Acting Inspector Shurla Prince of the T.T.P.S, speaking about their response here on the island of Tobago as it relates to the unfolding of things with Hurricane Beryl on the island, urging members of the communities and wherever you are to stay indoors. If you do not have to be outside, stay indoors, keep yourself safe, keep your property safe. Try not to overwhelm the agencies that have been put in place to safeguard our lives. If it is not necessary for you to be out, stay indoors. Adhere to the advice that has been given to those who have the expertise to so do. And, of course, remain safe. Call your friends, your neighbors, see what's happening in their neck of the woods, and just ensure that we have that community spirit here on the island of Tobago from the inside. Please do not venture on the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue conversations this morning, but before we do so, we have to go for a short break. And of course, as we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.